Alright everyone, welcome back as we finally get into the best of threes and out of those dangerous best of ones. Apologies, I was going to go on cam and chat and stuff for a moment, but I never know when the game's going live in these open qualifiers. Normally I'd have a co-caster as well, whoever wasn't talking would keep an eye on the game, but if I was to go on camera there, all I'd be doing was looking at the stream stuff and making sure obviously everything was okay. So needed to focus on the game, knowing we were getting the pistol round live, and well, we're going to be having action almost immediately, it looks like, with this quick B play coming in. Decent start, of course, from Kenzie in towards that short pillar. A second frag found before he goes down. And it is only Isaac so far who's been able to return anything for GamerLegion. It's enough to at least give them control of the bomb site at the very least. And I was going to say, likely give them the bomb plant, but they've decided they want some more action before they put that down, hoping to extend it into an advantage. And with Suhi finding himself that kill in towards short, that's exactly what they do. Do they still want to put it down on B? It does seem to be the case. Maybe he could have went from short over to A right there. The only problem is he would have been heard once he dropped, so he would have probably just still been left in an awkward 1 versus 2. Getting back onto the bomb site now, though. Does need to be cautious, as you can see. Jerry waiting for someone to try and approach that window, and well, he doesn't quite peek it, so they are going to be able to cross back in towards the bomb site itself. Jerry now coming out, actually decides he wants to fight, and as Isaac goes down, getting that bomb planted becomes near impossible, as you can see. Jerry just takes himself a final headshot. I mean, yeah, honestly, they could have got the bomb down there very easily. I don't know if that kill in towards short was worth it enough. At the very least, I mean, if they got the bomb down, they'd be looking at some pistols right now, which they could do some damage with, or they would have beefed up their buy coming into this next round, but or even allowed for Galils to be bought if they wanted, of course. Instead, it's just all Glocks that they're going to be working with here. Should be a fairly clean round for forZe. They'll have an opportunity to kick this off with a bang, really. Let's have a quick breakdown, actually. Mirage, of course, is GamerLegion's pick. You have Nuke up next then as the pick of forZe, so if they can get off to a good start here and steal away Mirage, they'll be looking really good. And if necessary, Inferno is the decider. Standard L decider map, I mean. When is Inferno as a turret? Not a banger. As the Glocks are hoping to take solo peeks and get picks across the map, apparently. That's strange. That's not going to go well, ever. Not too sure what the plan was there. At least they're not feeding over to SMGs. It's rifles across the board. They do at least finally put their numbers together at this point with the 3 left. Hopefully overwhelm 1, maybe steal a rifle, do a bit more damage with that. Oh, nice little dink, actually. Sadly, they even take that fight 1 by 1. Down to 2 in the end, but Norvi gets away with it. Famas makes good work, rather, and now they're going to be up against the full buy. Obviously, that was only Glock, so we weren't expecting much. I just felt like they maybe could have done a little bit more with it. Mirage is a difficult map in fairness to do anything with a full eco. Like they just want to move in for the mid control. But a couple of FAMAS is still in play. I'd expect maybe a bit of aggression from the CT side, and yeah, that's exactly what we're getting. The jump on down in towards the underpass, and well, a charge coming out of the underpass right now. Actually, Kenzie's on a mission, and a mad one while he's at that as well. Has Suhi trapped in, but just can't really deal with him. Tries to actually put down the nade, and eventually, because of that, will be taken down. I think he needed to reload as well, so he was absolutely screwed. He had called in for the help there of Zorte from Connector as well, and unfortunately, that left him trapped without the ability to get the trade back either. So it moves into a 5-on-3. I mean, it's not comfortable by any means with Suhi being low, but then you've also got Shalfie, who's brought down to 15 health himself as well. So it's not a great position to be in. Norvi is going to be flanking around behind ramp, though. So if he could catch the bomb, get that second kill, potentially, he could turn this round on its head, but the timing, Akor checks for it. And with that, they confirm, I'd imagine, that forZe likely have their 2 remaining players here on A, because if they were flanking one in behind that slowly, surely they've already set up on the A bomb site. They just don't really seem to care. It doesn't matter. Fallon's going to take a headshot to get the entry in, and with that, Shalfie's left alone. He's already low, as we mentioned before. So as long as they move in together and get a trade here, there really shouldn't be much trouble more than losing maybe a single gun. Taking their time, though. Certainly not in a rush. Trying to ensure that they don't lose anyone unnecessarily. Rallen is pushing to spawn though, so we'll find out in a moment whether there is any kills to be found for Shelfie, and no, that's the answer. Quick bullet to the head. 2-1 now for forZe still, but it's not going to last very long. GamerLegion will tie it up, and coming into the next round, we should have a pretty good gun round coming out for forZe. Lose anyone unnecessarily. Rallen is pushing to spawn though, so we'll find out in a moment whether there is any kills to be found for Shelfie, and no, that's the answer. Quick bullet to the head. 2-1 now for forZe still, but it's not going to last very long. GamerLegion will tie it up, and coming into the next round, we should have a pretty good gun round coming out for forZe. Rallen is pushing to spawn though, so we'll find out in a moment whether there is any kills to be found for Shelfie, and no, that's the answer. Quick bullet to the head. 2-1 now for forZe still, but it's not going to last very long. GamerLegion will tie it up, and coming into the next round, we should have a pretty good gun round coming out for forZe. Rallen is pushing to spawn though, so we'll find out in a moment whether there is any kills to be found for Shelfie, and no, that's the answer. Quick bullet to the head. 2-1 now for forZe still, but it's not going to last very long. GamerLegion will tie it up, and coming into the next round, we should have a pretty good gun round coming out for forZe. They weren't too far off being able to afford one, of course, in this round, but just a little bit short. They'll not really spend too much either, wanting to ensure that their buy is as strong as it can possibly be in this next round. Pi1K asked how many qualifiers are there. There are 4 qualifiers. One has already been played out. 5 spots were taken from that. I'm trying to remember all the teams, but like Sprout and OG, I think, were 2 of the teams that made it through. You'll have to have a look. My memory is terrible. Oh, I actually have notes on it here, so I could probably open those up. That'd be useful, right? Yeah, so the qualified teams in the first qualifier were Sprout, Falcons, Maus, Aurora, and OG. So already 5 made their way through, and there's going to be 4 more, of course, after these quarterfinals finish up. 5 in the next qualifier, and then 6 in the last qualifier. So there's a lot of spots going, but still not enough for everyone who I would say can compete at that level to actually be there. So definitely a few teams who are going to be falling short, as Astralis have in these past 2 qualifiers. Decent kill on the CZ for Kenzie, but that's all he's going to be able to find for now, I'd imagine. The weapon not recoverable, and at the moment they're being hunted as well. Bad camera? Yeah, that's auto director. I'm running the stream in solo casting, so I'm not going to start observing for you as well unless it's necessary when the auto director completely dies. Because trust me, my attention's already split enough. I don't think I would be improving the observing by trying to do it. Yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on with the thing at the moment with the stream bitrate dropping sometimes. Probably my internet being a little bit awkward. Nice opening kill from Kenzie. Just decided rather to charge through his connector smoke. I believe ate a little bit of nade damage for his efforts, but more than worthwhile, of course, to get this very, very early advantage. And it seems to be just forcing GamerLegion straight into B. They don't really have much of an option. Everyone was grouped on this side of the map with very little info about what was happening elsewhere, and so far they haven't even found the entry. Playing around the smokes right now. So much time just being wasted by those B defenders, and well, it may not be enough. I was going to say the rotations are all in place, but the numbers have shifted back in favour of the T side, and it remains that way after another trade comes in. It's all onto Kenzie, and he can't get it done. It's a dink on Isaac through the bench, but he just wasn't able to get the finish, unfortunately. It's 3-2. GamerLegion grinding out the rounds here now with 3 in a row, and it should be a 4th coming their way with not really enough for more than maybe a few pistols to be purchased up here for forZe. It wasn't Wolfie's fault. His PC died. He was putting in, I think he put in some work part this morning that he had to put in. And it was fine. We done our first best of 1. We were on camera and just his PC died. So it was a little bit rough. But he's ordered a replacement one. He'll have it tomorrow. So for the next day, next weekend, should be all good. We'll have the 2 casters back again this round, though. We're not expecting much. We're not getting much either. Kenzie does get himself 1 kill, but other than that, I'm not really expecting any more damage to be done. apart from maybe another kill or so, as long as they stick together and trade things out on the GamerLegion side. Although at the moment they're all very spread, of course. Looking now, I think they bring it back towards A. Are they leaving the op? Are they not taking it? It's a little bit risky, in case anyone pushed forward and managed to find it for themselves. Well, they're walking into an open A bomb site, so there's not a ton to say at this point. They may as well set up for exits, I suppose. It's not like those Deagles are going to be incredibly valuable to them in this next round. They'll be getting their buy either way with, what, 2,900 loss bonus at this point, so they'll get what they need. Only Norvi left standing, and, well, he's going to just hope that someone comes towards him. It's not really necessary, though. They should be aware that he doesn't really have much to take away from him. It's GamerLegion who have a bit more to lose, despite being the ones who have taken a few rounds in a row. So yeah, he will live. Probably drop Deagle over to a teammate or something if someone else is a little bit lower on economy. No, they get 2,900. If they're going to buy an op, you can give it to the opper. That's the only really reasonable thing. Other than that, he just has himself a Deagle that he probably won't bother using unless he runs out of bullets. Although, since he's an M1S player now, it might be useful. Either way, their buy is decent. Could be better. The nades are okay. They have the mollies on the most players. They have smokes. A few flashes in there as well. The only issue is there's no kiss, so if it comes down to a retake, then they're going to be in a bit of trouble. So ideally, they'll need to try and alleviate a bit of the pressure on themselves here early on. Ideally, if they can, with an opening pick from that op of Zorte, and, well, he actually gets the damage. He did land the shot. Unfortunately, it just doesn't manage to take the pick, and then Kenzie charges through connector like a madman. Worked out for the opening kill earlier on IEM, so I guess his thought was, why not again? Unfortunately, the reason is because GamerLegion do have the ability to adapt and remember. It's a tricky little trait. It's the 4-on-3 now, really one that still could go either way. Zorte is up on the short fence, I believe. That's a kill. I was going to say that could be snatched up by Suhi, but instead he actually finds the rotation in from connector. Sorry, it was Shelfie up on the short fence. Either way, he did find that one trade before himself being taken down, but he's given his teammates a bit of room to move around now. Especially Rallen, who's going to creep in through mid. Where's he taking this? His teammates going through jungle. Do they want to go B with this? They're all going B. The T's are behind the CTs. No, surely they realized. Yeah, okay, he's definitely spotted one of them in kitchen now. Doesn't actually get the kill either. He does pretty good damage. He has a molly and a nade as well that can slow down that rotation back in. And, well, he's already got the finish onto Shelfie. He got a little bit overconfident considering his health right there. So the bomb should be planted on A. They're still being cautious, though, because they don't 100% know that Jerry is over towards B. And now he's actually on short, so he's gotten himself in the position to stop the bomb plant. Thankfully, he doesn't get the kill, but he will do insane damage and then take the frag onto IM afterwards. So suddenly, this is a very winnable 1 versus 1. He doesn't have a kit, but the bomb's only just being planted. Bit of time at the least given to Rallen as he positions back in towards Tetris, and, well, the smoke that was down here from Jerry unfortunately has kept him on his toes, expecting him to be just lurking around it. There we go, he just swings on Tetris, gets the job done, and has plenty of time for that defuse to come in. Finally forZe pick up another round, but it's an incredibly close one. It comes down to the clutch as well. So they're not going to have a lot of money for the reinvestment to come in, and on the other hand, GamerLegion have plenty, so they're going to be keeping the pressure on, and they have a chance at just leaving forZe again. But not really much to work with in this next round if they are to lose this one. Last how many maps have been played? Yeah, this is just the first one. This is the pick of GamerLegion, and then we have Nuke next, which is forZe's map pick, so it is definitely still very early days to tell who exactly is going to come out on top of this series, of course. And, well, Zord, great work actually pulling off that second kill. Wasn't expecting Shelfie to go jumping around the corner. Thankfully, they did have the second player there for the trade. Giving them a 4-on-3 very early on into the round. Like GamerLegion are happy at this point to just try and group on B and see if they can get in there, knowing that they've already taken out one player and that a lot of the utility as well had been used in actually trying to get control. There is a quick rotate back in from short. There's a smoke that's just now being put down at pretty much the perfect timing, and this is going to be tough for GamerLegion. They need a clean entry really on towards Norvi. Norvi? I don't know. Terrible with pronunciation. Either way, they decide to actually wait the smoke out. They hear that rotation back in as well. It's going to be awkward. They just need to charge in. There's still decent time at the very least, but the longer they take, the quicker that flank and the rotation is going to come forward. So they need to be careful. Good entry with the nade, actually. Fortunately, the numbers don't last in their favor as Norvi immediately traded one back, and at the moment they're still hanging on the back of the bomb site long enough for Jerry to get into position. And they both clean it up. There you go. 4-4. We're tied up now. A slightly cleaner round, and when I say slightly, I mean very, very slightly. They survive with 2 players instead of 1 this time. They still have to put in pretty much the same amount of reinvestment to get their nades and such. But they are finally breaking down the money of GamerLegion a small bit. If they win this one, then they should have them pretty much broken. At least a few of the players won't have enough. If a bomb plant went down, I think they'd be alright. They're getting 2,400, so if they were to get the 800 from a bomb plant as well, pretty much all of them would be able to buy bar Rallen. They're going to shift their attention over to mid control now. forZe have been very heavy in trying to retake this whenever they've lost it. Usually around connector here, as we've seen a couple of times. And yeah, it's going to be read by Acor. Pretty standard. Oh, Suhi's going to catch the timing as well. Oh my god, the player's behind them. He's on top of his head! Jesus. Alright. That is unfortunate for Jerry. He was literally standing on his enemy. And he was the one who got trampled on in the end. Shot by Shelfie, not sure exactly what went on there. Actually, already trying to push through connector. That's what's going on. They had Rallen on the bomb site, so they wanted to go ahead and finish with the control. It did give a small opportunity to forZe with that pick, but unfortunately, only that 1 kill has been found. Nothing since has been able to go in their favor, and I believe they know GamerLegion know that Zort's in towards jungle as well. He's made a bit of noise already when he scoped up, so IEM should have called that. Taking their time, getting the bomb back over towards A, and as long as they play this 3-on-1 safely, there's no hope for Zorte, and he realizes that, so he's already gone to save the op. And that's the issue. I mean, they may have won these last couple of rounds, but immediately now their money has just been absolutely destroyed, especially since they won a couple in a row and knocked their own loss bonus back down a couple of pegs. GamerLegion very unlikely to go hunting as well, since they need the money themselves. So we're gonna have a bit of a lull now until the bomb explodes. Rallen Swedish? No, he's Polish. From Liberia? I know so little about that country. Other than the kind of horrible reasons it was set up for, if I'm remembering correctly. But, yeah. 5-4, GamerLegion strike back with 1 round and just immediately ruin forZe, as we said. Even with the op being saved, they couldn't really afford to buy up anything around this, sadly. Just going to be a straight up A execute. The op is in towards mid, I believe, so maybe you can get in position in time to get a couple of picks, maybe do some damage, but yeah, as the smokes go down especially, I don't imagine these pistols are going to be able to do a lot about the push coming forward, so unless Zorti finds some sort of a miracle landing multiple shots through smoke, the bomb site likely is the fall, and I don't think a retake would even be worthwhile attempting. Just save the op, they still won't have great money in the next round, so an op to work with is going to be a massive boost to the economy to get those extra nades. Nice camera. Yeah, auto director. What are you doing? I'm just gonna play my auto director. It's not me. Oh, did the encoder go weird for a second again? don't know what's going on with that, to be honest. Don't normally have that issue, so. Ooh, nice shot, Isaac. Okay, no weapons to be saved anyway, so forZe are completely knocked down to just their baseline buy here. They're going to have M4s and a few nades behind it. Polish quality or Polish quality? It's a weird thing to say either way. But it'd be weird if it was shiny. Actually just going to go straight into an A execute again. I mean, it went pretty well in the last round. In fairness, there was like no mollies or anything to stop them. There's not many mollies now either. But yeah, definitely going to be a little bit harder this time with some rifles in play to try and at least stop them. Seems like they're not really going to go as heavy on the smokes either. They want to take the fights. They know that the utility isn't great for forZe. So they want the straight up aim duels, and it's not really going all that well for them in the initial stages. Rallen is the only one to even get a return so far. Leaving it all on Acor. Well, just Acor, I was going to say, and IEM, but he's gone down and lost a bomb in the meantime. So things did not go well in towards Sandwich, as you can see. The bloody mess. Bloody mess. As Acor goes down in the end as well. Was just, I guess, hoping to salvage maybe a kill from it at that point. They have money to rebuy. There was a ton of time as well. He was probably being flanked, so it's not like saving was really much of an option. Oh. Bit of a boost to Acor. Didn't have the best spawn though, so it's not like it's allowed him to beat Kenzie to window, sadly. I'm just going to go for the boost up into the ladder room. Doesn't want a chance to show off his KZ skills, apparently, by making the jump. That's always risky, just in case there is an op that wants that early peek. But yeah, slow mid control coming in. It's a default from GamerLegion. There's not a ton to break down early on. Interestingly, they've put their A player directly in Palace as well. So they will actually bring Isaac back around just in case anyone's trying to push through ramp. Likely implying that they're going to set up for an A split. I mean, considering they've hit A a couple rounds in a row, just directly on through ramp and Palace, it does make sense to try and swap it up and add an extra angle of attack. They will need to send someone back for that bomb if they actually do want to make a commitment happen. They've got time for now. They just want to get the presence shown. They're getting a deep connector smoke so that they can, in theory, have someone there. It doesn't matter if they actually do or not, because forZe have to be careful of it. And it also restricts the short info that they're able to obtain, of course. So just trying to restrict as much info really as possible. Although I do feel like forZe should have a bit of a read about this potentially being the A hit, considering that presence that was just spotted on ramp. But it doesn't look like they're budging. Happy to keep 2 players on B. Shalfie watching the connector push up. He's actually potentially going to find this short player. There we go. Free kill on Suhi. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Been a while since I've casted him. IEM should have the return here. Looks like, yeah, indeed, the trade is going to be found. But now the rotations are already on their way. There's players tucked in at the back of the bomb site. There's only 17 seconds to get that bomb down. Not loving their chances, I won't lie. Even with the trades coming back pretty effectively, it's just not really good enough with 10 seconds on the clock. Kenzie has a great position as well to cut off IEM's rotation. And now it's all onto Rallen. Didn't really have any option there. Either stick the bomb and get killed by Kenzie, or don't stick the bomb. Probably, maybe take out one of the players. Or else just go down as he did. So, yeah, he was kind of screwed no matter what. So we're tied up at 6-6. Won't stay that way long, of course, since GamerLegion can't really do much to fight for this round. But they do have 1 rifle. Oh. That's not fun. Bit of team damage. The round's going to be hard enough as it is. IEM's actually already up close connector here. I think he's going to be spotted in a sec once that smoke begins to fade away. Hopefully there's a teammate nearby so that they can get the trade, steal away a second rifle. Suddenly maybe they can start to do something in this round. Fortunately, no, the fresh smoke goes down. Kenzie just about catches that 1 kill and actually even spots the bomb carrier there over the top of it. Did have to commit himself, of course, pretty heavily to the angle to do so. So a trade at least comes back in, but they've done so much damage as well. As long as they don't lose more than 1 more player max, then they can be pretty happy with how this round has gone. Although ideally, they will want to keep all 4 alive just to ensure that going into the last couple rounds of the half that they're not going to have any money issues. There you go, nice shot by Shelfie. Pretty standard low health already. Just wanted to finish things off. It's all on Acor. Well, he has a decent amount of time and an AK, so at this point he should just be fully focused on maybe taking 1 or 2 more players to the grave with him. Just so that they can give themselves an opportunity to potentially, if they win this next round, have a bit of a free shot at the final round, potentially, if they can limit the buy. Although I don't know how possible that'll be at this point, especially now as it's ended with 4 alive, so they're all good. They'll get 1 drop into kenzie, he'll get his nades, a few nades are repurchased, and they'll have money on most people to buy in this next round if necessary. Ideally for forZe, though, they're aiming for the 9-6 half. GamerLegion, I mean, you can be pretty happy with the 6 rounds that they've managed to grind out here, but a 7th would be the icing on the cake. Sorry, my door was knocking there. It was a bit loud, so figured I'd mute for a sec just in case. Jerry, I think, just took a ton of damage from a nade somewhere. And, well, they're just going to try and burst out A. This is a different approach. They really have been favouring A this entire half, but it's the first time they've tried to go for a dry, just hoping to find the early picks, and unfortunately that hasn't worked out at all. They've been torn apart by Zorte and kenzie. Jerry should have himself a quick kill here on Suhi as well. Flick down right onto the head, and it's only Acor left standing once again. A 1v5 this time around. A bomb plant, very unlikely as well. That it would be exactly what they need. If they could get a bomb plant, I think they'd be able to confirm the buy in the next round. I don't think we have a round loss tracker, do we? Oh, we do. No, so they'd only get 2,900. So if you did get the bomb plant, they'd just about be able to scrape out a buy. Without it, they're screwed. So yeah, they're screwed. Quick drop down mid there from Suhi, just not expecting the underpass aggression. Although this is a dangerous thing to do against these weaker weapons. A lot of the time you will have Tech 9s and such moving through under. It's actually the Galil this time around. Here's the reload coming in. Isaac should be able to punish this apartment's aggression as well. Narvi didn't even have his weapon out yet. He had his knife in his hand initially, so he wasn't even ready for the fight as he came through. Thankfully, Shelfie, a little bit more prepared, will manage to frag, but not before being damaged heavily as well. So this is a round where GamerLegion came into it with a terrible, terrible buy. And I was going to say I'd managed to bring themselves into a somewhat winnable position, but this 2-on-3 becomes a little bit harder for sure. Especially as they haven't actually recovered any rifles to work with. Trade of damage there. Not the worst situation, maybe. Considering the other 3 players are all already tagged up, it gives Acor a good opportunity with that scout to be able to finish people off now. And Rallen, of course, having recovered a Galil as well. I think there was an M4 in under as well. Rallen couldn't trade out, I guess, after picking up the Galil initially, maybe because, well, he was creeping the entire way, didn't want to give away that he was coming through under. Getting the bomb down on A would be very difficult, though, with those 2 players in the spawn. It's not going to be easier getting the B, actually, through kitchen either. As you can see, the op already holding the angle. Zorte had the read. That's the bomb gifted to him. And, well, this is going to be the 9-6 half. It's looking like for forZe. Not really anything Acor can do. He's going to desperately run towards the bomb, but he needs to keep his knife in his hands at all times if he wanted any chance of making his way to B. And even then, I don't know if that would be a certainty, and there's already a player waiting there for him. Definitely wouldn't make it at this point anyway. Gonna get shot in the back. There you go. 9-6 at the halftime. forZe manage a solid showing on the CT side, especially after things looked pretty rough in those early rounds for them. Sorry, I was just getting up HLTV so I could look at the scoreboard since we don't have a round tracker here. Yeah, so it was the initial 2 rounds obviously went forZe's way, and then 4 in a row for GamerLegion. After that, then they were only able to find 2 more rounds, which were also chained together. So it was really forZe that seemed in control most of the time in the latter part of the half. But GamerLegion did have their moments towards the beginning of it. The question is, can they pick back up there now going onto their CT side? They need to find some sort of momentum, some sort of confidence. As they all go for Kevlar. Okay, that's confident. Straight up fights. There's no retakes going to be happening here, or at least that's the hope. That's just a decoy, I think, towards window, is it? Yeah, just decoy down on window, keep them busy, maybe thinking it's a smoke, so they pull rotations away. And in the meantime, it's an execute onto the A bomb site, and it's perfectly set up to cut off those players who have just rotated over towards connector and mid. So yeah, nice little strategy coming through. Ideally, they'd want to take the CT control so they have somewhere to play the afterplant from. And I think that's exactly what they're going to do. Norvi even finds himself a kill around the edge of that stairs smoke. So a nice little advantage being taken in numbers as well as positioning now. So this is going to be a very difficult retake for GamerLegion. We mentioned before they do not have a kit. They all went for Kevlar. There's a player up close on triple. I'm not sure how Rallen gets away with a kill there, but he will be traded back, as will Kenzie, in towards the spawn. So now we've got a 3-on-3. We've got the Palace flanker as well, as Acor manages to pick off one. The problem is now, again, no kit, so they need to get someone on that bomb real soon, and it's just not going to happen. It's all now on to Isaac, 4 health, up against Jerry, who can tuck in around Tetris and just play a few more seconds off at his clock, and he's doing it perfectly, as Isaac gives up all hope and, well, hopes to just take the kill as he backs away, and he will find it, but it's a small consolation at that point, considering, of course, forZe rather have managed to get themselves up to double digits. It's a rough pistol round to be losing for GamerLegion. A reminder again, this is their map choice. So if Mirage drops for GamerLegion, they're heading on to Nuke, where forZe are likely going to feel more comfortable even. Although Mirage is kind of a map that everyone can play, so not necessarily, but it is their pick anyway. So it's likely the one that forZe were preparing. They're still managing to get it done right now here on Mirage. See if it changes up coming forward now with this being a forced buy. Of course, there's one M4, there's Deagles across the board. If this doesn't work, then they're in trouble because it'll be 12-6 before they get the guns again. As the initial kill's actually gone the way of Kenzie and Connector, and Norvi decides to just charge through that stairs smoke to help out his teammates. Didn't want to risk leaving them alone against those weaker weapons. Just to at least ensure some trades would be available, and that's how they're managing to keep things going. They've spotted Suhi in the spawn as well. He's the last man standing, and they don't really need to take any risks in terms of peeking him. If you give a chance to that Eagle to get some further damage done, even if he doesn't win this, at least he's taking some more weapons out of play. This was a heavy rifle buy. Now we're going to have a little bit of downtime in terms of it only being pistols anyway that forZe have to contend with. But the piss-taken pistols, how stupid some pistol rounds can be sometimes, so we'll have to be somewhat observant, but it doesn't really seem like they're trying anything crazy. I mean, just taking straight up aim duels in regular positions is never really going to go too well when you only have these pistols. Maybe a stack up, one flash behind it maybe, around, especially with how heavy forZe are going in towards mid in this round. If they had a flash and they were just waiting connector, they probably could have tried to peek it together perhaps. There's still a chance for maybe a couple kills to be found here, but forZe anyway should have this. They should have a 12-6 lead for themselves, and they managed to pick up the next gun round. And going forward, I don't know what sort of hopes GamerLegion are going to have at making a recovery happen here on Mirage. Nice little bait there between the two of them with the jump into ladder room. Wasn't intentional, but they made it work anyway. As B is going to be taken over, and the bomb's going to go down. I think they might even get the kills before it really explodes, because you've already got a player up close and ladder there. Got one in connector who wants to fight towards short as well, so they're hoping for exits anyway. They're not trying to hide away. Nice little check from Shelfie. I'm just letting it sit a bit more during these moments where there's not a lot going on, because otherwise I'm just repeating stuff. And, I mean, what's the point? There really wasn't much to break down in them just trying to get a couple of exits right there. Not normally the sort of game you have to solo cast, but luck hasn't been on mine or Wolfie's side the last couple of days. I had a PC crash yesterday randomly, and his power supply died today, so for any newcomers, that is why I'm currently solo casting. Straight into an A execute for forZe. Massive change in pace for sure, but I'm not sure if they've maybe made a small mistake by not showing at least some mid presence in the early moments. As you can see, GamerLegion immediately just began that rotation back towards the A bomb site. One kill found initially on top of a ton of damage onto Norway. So a trade back from Rallen is pretty much going to start sealing the deal here for GamerLegion. Never mind, hang on, they just decided to push the smokes. That really wasn't necessary. A 4-on-2 was a massive advantage that if they could have held onto, rather, they likely would have had a very easy retake at the very least. Instead now it's a 1-on-1, and granted Zorte is incredibly low, so it should be for Isaac to win, but it just gets a little bit too close for my liking in the end, and it also means that GamerLegion of course only live with a single player. Thankfully he gets the op to drop back over, but they're still going to have to spend all of their money here, and it is not going to give them a perfect buy. I wouldn't have maybe minded a tactical pause before this gun round for GamerLegion, because it's so important. If they don't win it, they're screwed. Seems like they're happy enough to just get going. Akar on the op, of course. Let's see what he can manage to do here, because Zorte has been a pretty difficult foe to deal with in that first half anyway on the CT side. Oh, he's lined up on him. Should have a kill as the smoke fades away, and there you go. Easy shot indeed to land. Surprised neither of them spotted it on the radar a little bit sooner. Of course, the smoke, I think, fades away slightly quicker on the kind of look of GoTV. It's the nature of how they work. At this point, though, GamerLegion just don't even care about mid-control anymore. They're happy to give it away. They've already got the 5-on-4. They've got a bit of damage as well in their favour. So Akar could be in trouble if he decides to take this peek here with 3 players creeping up. Connector, the shoulder gives him away. I don't even think he knew that his shoulder was actually showing, so that is unfortunate. As the trades now begin to come in, it's going to be the A bomb site that forZe want control of, and, well, they've gotten it for now. Health-wise, it's no longer really much of an advantage for either team, either. Repeating words a bit too much there. But the nades at least available for Isaac, but he's the healthy one. He's the one with the kit as well, so he needs to be moving in quickly, as his teammates are just wiping everyone off the map. Okay, that works. If a massive Suhi hits a nasty couple of shots coming in from the spawn, and the final player caught in mid. It's going to be an 8th round for GamerLegion after what was looking quite promising for forZe once they got that bomb down. I guess some pistols at least, but other than that, really no upgrades coming in. No utility behind those deagles either. So a few kills maybe for forZe. That's got to be their goal. A bomb plant would be nice as well. GamerLegion really shouldn't be having any trouble with this round. They'll head up towards 9, and at this point you do start believing that a comeback can happen for sure. This is their map choice after all. They had a bit of a rough start, obviously. Did win out the pistol in the round afterwards, but then lost 4 subsequent rounds, I believe. And then just struggled to get anything else going on their T side. So perhaps the defense is where they're going to put all of their effort into now. Bit of mid-aggression. This could actually be kind of caught off guard. Could catch them off guard with the fact that there's already a player at the boxes, rather. I don't think they're really aware of that. Yeah, Norvey might have the chance to get a drop and maybe steal a weapon away. Let's see. They're actually able to bait for him a small bit. That's IEM, and he's got 0 support. The upper isn't actually watching. Oh, he just about hopped off. He'd been looking towards under, I believe, for a moment. Was going to drop down as his teammate fell. Instead, it's the Deagle to get 2 open, and it's Jerry. He's managed to find some success as well. It's Suhi desperately trying to pull things back in their favour and turn it around. Unfortunately, the 2 kills doesn't really confirm that yet, especially with the amount of chaos that went down. It has allowed for a player to creep into the spawn. You've got one on B at the bench as well. Things are all over the place right now for GamerLegion as they desperately try and claw their way back in. And well, at the moment, they're definitely still left with a fighting chance. Suhi's actually tucked in towards Sandwich. This could be a pretty good position. I don't know if they're going to expect this. Shalfie jumping around in Palace. The other player coming in from the spawn. Actually does give his position away without getting the kill. Unfortunately, it was the high health player that had control of the bomb, but he had a nasty flick with the USP. So he at least gives his teammate a 1v1, but the health isn't in his favor, even with the Molotov forcing Shalfie out of position. A few bullets in that AK is more than enough. It's a 13-8, and forZe off the back of a desperate investment of just 3 deagles and a full eco elsewise, somehow managed to take themselves their 13th round and leave GamerLegion in a horrible position. Because now they're on an eco, they're going to have to give away the 14th, and then they have to be flawless on the CT side if they want to make a comeback happen. Well, near flawless. They could drop 1, but then they'd be fighting for an overtime, and that's never fun on your own map choice, especially when it's the first map of a best of 3. Instead, now it's GamerLegion who can only afford 3 deagles. So the tables really have turned. And just not at a time when GamerLegion could afford for it to happen either. Very unfortunate. See if the deagles can get a bit of revenge here and now, but I'm looking towards this next gun round mostly. They're going to have to get back to the winning ways that we were seeing early on here on the CT side. The promise that they certainly had. Looks like forZe are just going to try and bring things probably into a B split, considering the bomb's position. 2 waiting on B for them, but just a deagle and a USP, so there shouldn't be a lot of trouble. They also took the mid control to head up short so that they can, of course, keep their range a little bit more with those AKs and ensure the pistols aren't able to just tuck in and be jammy around Van and such. That was very close. I'm not sure how IEM got himself in behind so quickly. He must have made the jump up from window into the ladder room. Either way, it sadly doesn't really amount to much more than the single kill and some damage. And the push into kitchen, rather, is going to find Acor, who didn't hear it because of the nade, I'm presuming? Maybe? I don't know. Either that or his headset's broken. (14-8). 6 rounds between them, and GamerLegion, they'd want to start closing in that gap right now. Again, as I said, the max they can obviously lose is 1, and then they'd be fighting for an overtime. Ideally, they don't want to have to do that. If they could turn it around and somehow manage to win this map in regulation, that would be ideal for the confidence, since it is their own map choice. With Nuke coming up next, where forZe are shaped up pretty well, of course, I would say, to take a 2-0 if they finish it this confidently as well on Mirage. So we're getting incredibly slow early rounds. If I had Wolfie here to bounce off of, that'd be nice, but no. Instead, I've got to ramble my way through these moments of nothingness. Looks like we should start getting a bit of action out towards top mid now, though, and they actually go for it with, I don't think any utility really at all being put down. They were just hoping that mid at this point would have been abandoned by GamerLegion. Fortunately for them, that wasn't the case. Fortunately for GamerLegion, of course. Finally getting something for their efforts there towards mid, and at this point now just wanting to hunker back down with the 5-on-4 advantage. They have decent utility, and now they have an even better advantage, would have been extended by Suhi. He does eventually get traded, but not before doing some pretty good damage onto Zorti. Oh, that was looking scary for a moment. There is a player lurking in connector who has a really good opportunity. He actually catches Rallen around triple in the end. Zorti takes out IM in window, and Acor's all alone. This has just crumbled. It looked like it was shaping up to be their round, and suddenly it's just fallen apart. the flank even very quickly in behind Kitchen. So even if at this point Acor wanted to save, I don't know if he's going to be allowed to. Although he might now that he's made his way through jungle. The other player that was on A has come through the CT spawn. So unless they necessarily want to go hunting this up, he actually might be allowed to carry it over. Which would be pretty useful since they're going to have Feck all in this next round. That's with an E, by the way, so don't worry, I'm allowed to say that, I think. They actually are deciding to hunt it. I mean, they have decent money. It is very late in the rounds as well, so they probably don't need to be funding themselves for much longer, but they probably could have done it together a little bit more. Sorty 22 health, so he's definitely not going for it anymore with his molly down in the way. 15-8, 7 rounds in a row just to make overtime happen. I'm not fancying GamerLegion's chances, but we'll see. They saved the op at least. They've got a couple rifles around it. Bit of utility as well. No kits though, it doesn't seem, unless IEM's going to buy one up now after they finish dropping. IEM? Dude, it's probably the last round. Why do you have 950 in the bank? He just has that many confidence that they're not done yet, I guess. I'm trying to reason it for him because I can't understand why he doesn't have a kit and maybe some flashes. To each their own, I suppose. As it's a straight up A execute. This actually might be ideal for GamerLegion. The weaker weapons can hold off these quicker pushes, especially while they still have the small bit of utility they purchased up. The problem is that player in on default has been blind ever since the execute started. He was forced out of position by the Molotov and eventually taken down. At least a bit of damage was able to be dealt out beforehand. It looks like I'm going to be taking over the Observant now, as it doesn't want to work too well for us anymore. As Shelfie gets that spam in towards Connector, the peek in the CT spawn, I would imagine about to be punished by Zorte, and indeed it is, leaving it all on Isaac with only a deagle for now. Actually, he's gotten himself the M4. Molly a bit too late to actually stop that bomb from being planted, unfortunately, and it doesn't go deep into the back corner. So it's not going to actually force him out of position. Oh, the wallbang, I believe, doing a small bit of damage. It's not a ton, but it keeps him preoccupied. It makes him mess up his smoke as well, which isn't going to help out too much, although it looks like I may have baited that peek in a small bit if he didn't shoot too soon. Fortunately, the time working against him, considering he doesn't have a defuse kit either. Not loving his chances, and indeed, once he tries to actually push in, he knew he was walking into a crossfire. So his best chance was hoping for a mistake to be made, and unfortunately, it just wasn't going to be given to him. Sorry, took me a moment to go ahead and get things swapped over and set up again. Normally, I'd let the other commentator handle the last couple of moments since I'm also running the stream, but yeah, you'll just have to deal with it